Let us look at from the service provider. In my mind, one is the predictability. I'm not talking about CMMI or process. In any business, whenever I provide the service, what is important is predictability. Predictability is a money. If I can predict future, it is not only in the stock market, in any business, whatever I do. If I can predict future, if I can predict a behavior, that creates a difference, and that is the money. So predictability is extremely important for me. I will come with some details that how predictability can create a difference in the IT industry especially. The next part is the continuous improvement. Is basically what I mean is the quality and continuous improvement. Today, clients are not happy if you meet the SLA. SLA is the table stake for doing any business. What everyone look for is a continuous improvement. That whatever I am doing today, if I go to India, other than the labor cost arbitrage, other than the basic difference, I must improve my quality of service, and I should improve that every day. So that is an important part of my expectation. Second is the client satisfaction, of course, in any business that is important. And third is fourth is the cost of service and the productivity. In IT industry, you all know, those are in services industry, that the cost increase is is inevitable, and every year we have to have the salary increase and cost increase. But when you provide the service, when you sign a 5 years, 7 years outsourcing deal, you cannot have that cost increase in that same ratio. Client expectation is completely different. Rather, they expect the productivity gain year on year, the cost optimization year on year. So we need to make sure that the way we develop the model, way we deliver, so that our system, engine, is optimized every year by industrialization tool, and we gain productivity. So these are the 4 pillars, and which are the expectation from the industry, which is the expectation of the business. Okay. Now, question is, how do we do that? How do we do that? It is a very simple. It is simple is that when you talk about the high maturity behavior, we talk about any work, whether it can be application outsourcing work, it can be a SI work, it can be infrastructure work, or testing service, any work you take. You follow the standard model. You capture the data, you analyze the data, we predict, optimize our process based on the data, and then we drive the continuous improvement. So there is no rocket science in the model. What is the secret sauce is in the implementation, and how management use this engine to get the business benefit. I think that is the difference. Otherwise, capture data, analyze data, this is what we are talking about for a long time. Everyone does that. I think that implementation is important, that framework is extremely important, but more important is how do you get benefit out of that as a business leader. Let us see that especially in IT industry, how we try to use this model for our benefit. I'll take few examples. There are many cases where you can use this optimization model for your benefit. I'll take few examples. The first example, let me take that schedule and cost prediction. Whenever we do large SI engagement, this is example what I am giving. It was around a year back, and it's a live example. I was working on a large solution where it was around $50 million SAP implementation rollout. So in any SAP implementation, any SI engagement, in the solution there is a component called contingency, and which increases the cost, which reduces the competitiveness. Why contingency is important? It is important because a lot of uncertainties and all. Now there comes my predictability. Now better I predict, lesser is my contingency. So more I predict, so once I created the model first and we realized the cost is high, then we went back to our quality team, we call delivery performance team, and we checked the data for last 50 engagements, whatever we have done, a similar engagement with a similar, more or less similar scale. What are the effort variance we have achieved? We have faced. What are the cost overrun we have faced, if any? And based on that data we used to build the right contingency model. And then the contingency reduced. And ultimately, that helped us to win that business. So, that model, my high maturity model, gave me the prediction, and that prediction we used to do the right estimation for the future SI job. Which is again simple concept, but it is very powerful. I'll give you one more example. This happened around 2 years back when again the whole economy was in a little bit of a recession, and we were working with a client for an outsourcing deal, and it was a sole source, so only Accenture was talking to the client, and it was 500 plus application portfolio. So we did all the solution, and during the solutioning stage we had several meetings with the client CIO. We know them very well. So they set their expectation, and they told us they want to do offshore, they want to save costs, they want extremely good service, they want all 99.99 SLAs and things like that. So we created the solution, went back to him. He said, it's all good, we like your solution, we like your proposal and everything, except one thing I don't like. That is cost. So we have to reduce cost. Okay? So we tried all the conventional method and reduction of cost, reduce here and there. So still he was not happy. Then I don't know what to do about it. Then I asked him, so tell me what is your expectation? I can't go beyond this, and what is your final expectation? So he gave me a number. This is my expectation. What we did then we collected his data, we put that in a statistical tool, we used a Monte Carlo simulation, and we told them that I can meet your all expectation, cost expectation at the SLA compliance of 80%, not 99.9%. He said, 80% will not work. My applications are very important, all critical and all this thing. My users will jump. I can't sign this thing. Then he said, okay, I'm talking about 500 application portfolio. And all 500s are critical? No, 500s are not critical. Then we said, let us do a split. How many are critical? So then we understood that there are 5 to 10% that are extremely critical. And rest are critical, semi-critical, things like that. So I split that in a gold, silver, platinum service, something like that. And we said that for platinum service I'll give you 99%, for maybe gold I'll settle for 80 to 90%, and silver I will give you 80%, and I'll give you a price point. So he is happy. As far as he is concerned, he will be able to meet the price point, cost point, he will be able to meet his client expectation. I am happy, so we won that deal ultimately. Now, again, in this case, that whole solutioning, whole processing was, engineered by that simulation tool. It's a simple statistical simulation tool, which we have used to create the business benefit. So I call this as a high mature model for solution development, and that is possible provided we have the right framework to capture the data from the existing engagement, right framework to manage that data, analyze that data, and give it to our benefit. Let me take one more example that we are working on. Apart we are a company, the CMM level 5 company. We also implemented PCMM across Accenture the last couple of years. As a PCMM, we assess the competency of all the people. So I know the competency of all the people. And with our CMMI maturity model, and as I said that with the simulation, I can predict the solution and the performance of the team. Now, if you marry these two, if you marry this PCMM and CMM strength, then what happens when you create a solution? You try to create a solution which is competency-based solution. So when you do the staffing, it is a competency-based staffing. It is not based on a headcount. So when I do a service, I don't want to say that I need 100 people to provide support to a client. I will say, this is the competency level is required. And competency comes with a cost. So if somebody is at the highest level, say P4, will come at this cost point. If it's a P1 or P0, will come at lower cost point. So it's a mathematical model. I can have more number of people to give the same service level. I can have more number of people with a lower cost, P1, P0. Or I can have the lesser number of people with a higher competency, with all P4. And most likely what we do is a balance between two. So one need to understand what should be the right competency mix in the engagement to give you the right outcome. And that is the maturity where what I talk about, the high maturity, what we like to achieve and what we are practicing every day. I feel that the business use of this model create difference and is very, very much applicable in today's business scenario where we are today. What I see today, as I said that 15 years back, it was primary drivers, or 10 years back, primary driver for offshoring was cost arbitrage. And now, what I talk about is the value arbitrage. When you talk about the value arbitrage, the expectation of the client is not the defect resolution. They expect defect prevention. Defect resolution is a good thing. You meet your SLA, but client will be happier if you can eliminate the defect. I'll give you one more example, wonderful example that it happened around 3 years back. We were working on one of the solution for one SAP mid-size company, SAP maintenance work. When we created the solution and we collected all the data and all, we understood that they used to get around say 2,400, 2,500 P1, P2 tickets per month, and based on that they do their, they run their business. And we created a solution with a normal solution with, with normal SLAs, what you'll meet, and staffing model and other things. But when I did the costing on an assumption that first 3 months I will get X number of tickets. After 6 months I will get X by 2 number of tickets. So that created a huge difference in my costing model. But it is based on our confidence, yes, in this kind of SAP footprint, yes, in this kind of industry, yes, in this kind of technology, I should be able to drive continuous improvement and reduce the number of tickets over next 6 months. And that confidence comes from our experience, what we are doing in engagement by engagement and a continuous improvement. So if I can do that for 500 engagement, why not a new engagement? And if I am so confident, that 99% confident that I drive that for all my engagements today, I am equally confident that I will be able to do that tomorrow for the new engagement. And if I am so confident, if I can predict that, I should do a costing based on that, and that will help me to win the business. So that defect prevention is important. Again, what is important is that in process defect, in process efficiency is important, but what I look for as a business is more of an outcome driven behavior. Say basically they improve productivity, improve the outcome. So whenever I look at any quality process, I look for what is the end game, what is the end outcome, and what is the improvement on that end outcome. So that is the behavior, that is the expectation from the leadership. Finally, maybe a few closing things I will say that You know, as a business, as I said, that as a business has changed the status over time, the quality framework, industrialization has changed. When we implement these processes, the first thing we should keep in our mind is the business goal. What we are ultimately trying to achieve. I don't want to implement a process for the sake of process, for the sake of certification or anything else. It has to get completely aligned to a business goal. So that is important, and as the goal changes, model change. And why I like the CMMI model, as I see today last 10 years, it has evolved, it has changed with the time, with the business model, and that's why it is so relevant even today. We feel that decision should be based on data. We capture tons of data in CMMI process. Our decision making, every step should be based on data. And this is a culture one needs to build within the organization. Then the last point I think important is the innovation management. This is a large topic, but what I feel that from the management point of view, this is a power in your hand, and one needs to think how you can use that weapon to win the deal, how you can use that strength to create a difference in the market every day. So that is the innovation I look for every day using this model. Of course, these results are operational excellence and the client value creation, of course, the continuous improvement. So these are the few thoughts from my side, and again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts in this forum. And if there is any question, maybe you all can write my email ID if it comes up in your mind later. Bhaskar Ghosh at Accenture.
Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Dr. Ghosh, for sharing that. I'm sure we have good time, Dr. Ghosh, if there could be some questions on the floor of the House. We can throw open for a few interactions. Can I see some hands going up in the audience? I see half hands going up, I don't see a full hand going up. Okay, wonderful. I think the morning session, people are still to warm up a little. But can you take the microphone right there? Yeah, sure. That was a half hand perhaps, Andrew Shankar. Thanks for pointing out. You may please introduce yourself, your company, and have a brief question lined up.
Bhaskar, this is Moses from Colloquium. Pretty interested to sort of see the measurements on people and how you would connect with something on delivery. I think it throws a light as to what is that measure when you said competency measurement of people. How objective is it? If you can throw some light, that will be really helpful.
So, there is a competency under PCMM, there is a competency measurement framework, and based on their skill, technical skill, we level them in a different scale, and there is a process behind that for the evaluation. There is a interview process, and there is some experience you need to have. You need to work in certain areas, and then you have to demonstrate that capability, and based on that evaluation, we rate them on scale of 4, P1 to P4. And so that is the competency framework what I have referred. There is a standard competency framework what is implemented across the organization based on PCMM implementation.
Thank you very much. Yes, right here.
Yeah, I'm Himlata and I'm from Sonata Software Limited. You mentioned it is basically the culture which actually makes this model or whatever is the key. But what are the challenges in making the culture as a DNA of at least to a management level or at a middle management level? Can you just throw some tidbits on this?
So I think it's a very good question, and I am sure that different speakers will have the different views. I will share my personal views. I think the culture is driven from the top. You know that we have seen this thing in our journey that when we started implementing these processes, it was primary focus was on the process. You collect the data because it's expected as required by the process. And So that was the try. But what happened that as an organization, as a leader, once I start looking at the data, when my next level start looking at the data, once they take decision based on the data, then whole organization get aligned to that. So it has to be a top-down process. If I say, as the lead for Accenture Delivery Center in India, that I am absolutely confident that this all data, whatever I have, is correct, this prediction model is correct, and I sign up to decide, on any decision based on this data. So that will change the culture. And the moment I look at the data, my next level knows that this is important. They look at the data because they know I'll take decision based on that. Once they look at the data, the next level look at the data. So I think that is a chain effect. But the leadership will look at the data once they find the value of it. So I look at the data once I see that I can use this data effectively to influence business. So my goal is to win more business. My goal is to make clients are more satisfied. My goal is that we improve the cost of delivery, we improve the productivity every day. So these are my top level goal. As long as I see that the model throwing up the result as helping me to achieve this goal,